And welcome to part 2. So we are continuing these Naga Claw quests here where we left off, and I happened to run into a rare here, as you can see. Got quite lucky. Apparently rares are very hard to find in Outland. There's actually an achievement to find and kill a rare, and you will get it. I didn't know it, but I went ahead and did it anyway. Actually found her twice. She seems to spawn at different Naga camps, so keep an eye out for her if you find her. You shouldn't have too much trouble taking her down, really. She is a sorceress class, but the only thing she does is that little hydro jet that you see there that throws you up in the air. It's a bit of a stun, and then it brings you down. Otherwise, she doesn't do the ice chain or anything like that, so she's not too difficult to beat by herself. You can either just do what I did here, and you should be just fine. She goes down, I get the achievement. I'm like, woot woot. Did not expect that. My guild mates are jealous. Our level 80 hasn't even gotten that, so that was kind of nice. And then I find her again later. She drops pretty nice loot too. It looks like plate leggings is the most common thing she drops. Blue BOEs, so if you don't use plate, that's quite fine. You can go ahead and do that. So here I am after I finished the Naga Claws quest and all that. I go ahead and turn these quests in. As you can see that the unidentified plants quest is repeatable. Obviously not for experience, but for equipment and everything. So you can continue doing that if you like, or you can sell them all in the auction house for decent gold that people do buy for. So I go ahead and turn those in, pick up some more quests, turn in these other two quests, and excuse me, there's just a lot of quests here. Just in this little Druid area, and then we're going to go ahead and skip ahead over to the nearest Alliance flight point that you'll see here, and you'll see me grab a whole bunch more quests. This is another little Draenei like city or whatever. It's kind of set on top of a mushroom, so there's a little elevator that you'll find in order to get up there, until obviously you get some flight form or be able to fly up there yourself. So there's a lot of quests up there that I can see. There's also the main flight path for Zangro to go to Shat or to go back to Hellfire and so forth. So I go ahead and pick up quite a bit of quests here as well. And again, I've turned in a lot of these quests, and they appear to be chains. I have a ton of quests still to do, even after hitting 65. In fact, most of them are all green now, which is just fine. There's no problem or harm in that. You know, the more the experience, the better. I mean, I have a lot of options. You can probably see there a little bit in my quest goober log. I actually have a quest to go to Takara Forest, which is the outside area near Shat, and I probably should get to that soon as well, just to get that started. So definitely no shortage of quests in Outland. That's for darn sure. So do as much as you can and get them done. So I go ahead and grab all those quests. Mount up. Let me try that again. See the elevator there? I have to wait for it. But I do get back down, and I get right back to questing. I go ahead and start on this first quest, and these I attacked these earlier. I don't believe you saw it in the video. But these guys right here, they're not very difficult. They're not very hard. The thing you need to keep an eye on of these rippers is they do mana leech, as you can see, and when they do, they'll get little mana orbs, and they'll use it to arcane explode. So honestly, obviously, if you're a magic user, that's a real thing to watch out for, especially if you're a mage or priest. Druid should be okay. It's more of an annoyance than anything, in all honesty. It doesn't do that much damage, and honestly, the mana drained isn't too bad. As you can see here, I was able to negate it pretty well, especially with clear cast. So druids will probably have an easier time. Mages and priests will probably have the most difficult time with this mana drain. Otherwise, the actual arcane explosion it uses for is pretty negligible. It really doesn't do that much damage. So you can see that here. Excuse me. And so we get that done, get that quest done, and then we move on to another quest, which happens to actually be here in the Cenarian little post. I also actually forgot to grab a quest there. And basically what this quest is to speak to the trees, the two main ancients, my apologies, the Ancient of Lore to get its blessing, and the Ancient of, good lord, Ancient of Altars or whatever, and get its blessing. That comes a little later. I don't know if I put the video up for it on this part or not, but the first quest I'm going to do is a little little flyby quest, and this is quite cute. You get to go into a little raven form, and you have to be at her balcony where you get the quest. And it's not controllable; it's totally on rail. I'm going to show it to you here, sped up in its entirety. So enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, easy quest, and it does start the next part in the chain. And these have to do with the drains, obviously, the one we discovered at that first lake. Then you get this one to do the flyby, to investigate them all and all the lakes, to find out an idea of kind of what the Naga are up to. Once you do the flyby and you figure out what's going on a little bit, obviously it must be stopped, so you get another quest chain to try to disable and a little item to disable all the pump controls that I don't know if you saw or not, but you'll see that a little later here in this video. The first pump controls we do disable, and you have to do that for all the pumps on the map, and they're fairly spread out. You'll be going in most all these areas anyway for some other quests that you'll see that I do, so it's not a huge deal. So we finish that quest, we'll come back, we'll land, we'll turn it in, and we'll get the next one, the one I just described to you. And then we go ahead and move on to our next set of quests. And the next set of quests are these hydras that you probably saw in the water a little bit from previous quests. There I am turning in the quest for those lures. As you can see, it doesn't start another chain or anything. I just went ahead and did it since I was in the same area. I didn't show the video of actually getting it because it's really not much to see. You just talk to the tree, to the ancients, the big trees. You just talk to them, they'll give you the blessings. They're just buffs, so they are timed, so you want to turn it in pretty quick. So we go attack these hydras, and these my hydras for this one quest, not very difficult at all. They like to spit poison. Obviously they are three-headed, so they'll do a little melee attack, a little spit poison. Even if there's multiples, they're going to do that. The poison is not that hard. Again, these are pretty easy. You'll find these in the same lake that we went through for the Naga. They're all around there. There is some electric eels, but they're not a big deal either. I did get a few ads of those once or twice. Was not a problem at all. So we continue with that quest, we finish that, and we get to our first controls on the way through from doing the Hydra quest, because it just follows the line of Hydras up to here. We use it. There's usually an pump overseer at the controls that you'll have to kill. You use it, and he'll usually respawn pretty immediately. Even if you don't use the items or whatever when you do kill him, he does have a pretty fast respawn rate, so keep it in mind if you see him. He's nothing really special. He doesn't call for any help or anything. He just likes to beat on you really hard. So, not a big issue, not a big deal. He'll go down pretty darn easy. So, we hit our first pump, we get that done, and we move on to our first elite boss, Naga boss, that we need to take out here for our quest. He's the nearest to the pump that you just saw by the lake over there. He is Myrmidon-like, in other words, he's melee. The biggest thing to keep in mind here, as you're watching me get the beat down and taking care of business from his guards here before I actually try to attack him, is that he has a knockback slash stun, which is a real pain if you're not prepared for it. So it's a good idea to clear out as much as you can around him if you're going to try to solo him, or even with friends, just to not have to worry about ads, which is pretty much what I'm doing here. I honestly almost got him, but I missed a Swiftman by a second, and it pretty much just called the end of it. So you will see me here at the end of the video at my final moments against him, dying for this part before we go on to part 3. And then on part 3 you'll see my lovely fiancée lending me a hand to take him down, which we do pretty handily. Besides his knockback and his hurting, honestly he's not too difficult. For an elite, he's not too bad at all. If it wasn't for the knockback, he would be very easy, in all honesty. So that's pretty much it here for part 2. Again, you're going to see here at the very end of the video me dying from trying to take him on. I got very close, but I just missed that Swiftman by a second. If I would have hit the Swiftman, I couldn't have nervated, and I probably would have survived to at least kill him, and probably the ad that I did get at the very end here. But things do happen. It happens. No big deal. And my kitten, as you'll see in part 3 here, will lend me a hand and we'll take him down. So we'll see you here in part 3 as we continue on the march to 65.